Well, it is ThinkPad time in the household. So we'll switch some things around here and get to it. So the difference between this one and most of the ThinkPads that I order is this one is not a CTO model. This is prepackaged. I'm hoping that my focus is okay because this is not really a great video camera in general. But we're just gonna go for it, I guess. I'm gonna hope that I don't cut myself, and I will come and adjust the focus as we get to it. Throw all this stuff away. There she be. So, ThinkPad X1 Tablet, 3rd generation. It is sitting in the standard ThinkPad X1 retail packaging, which is kind of nice. A little bit of shaking happening. Open this puppy up and we have your standard lift up casing. Looks a little munched up here. Before we get to the tablet, let's see what's inside. We open up with our fancy ThinkPad keyboard case. So, if we open this up a little bit, we have a nice ThinkPad style keyboard. The trackpad is a little stiff. Buttons feel good. Trackpad feels good. Keyboard feels a little shallow. On the rear you can see some of my fingerprints. But it looks actually pretty similar to the previous generation cases, though a little less leathery, except on the joint here. Now at this point what I assume I'll find is a power adapter, a pen, and that's about it, really. We have the standard 65 watt power adapter with USB-C on one end. I was kind of hoping for a slimmer power adapter, but it will do. This is probably going to be the actual power cable side of the equation. Yep. Always a little disappointed that it comes in 2 pieces. Maybe I got spoiled from using Apple products for so long. But I enjoyed the ThinkPad casing more before, not so much now. Here we have documentation. Who needs documentation until you need it? And in here we have the ThinkPad Active Pen, which is a really nice thickness for a pen. Has the red top, side buttons, no button on the end. Underneath it we have, looks like a pen clip and a battery, quadruple A to slot into the pen, and it looks like that's it for the packaging. So I guess let's move on to the real deal itself and open up the tablet. So same kind of fabric casing as the other ThinkPad X1 lineup, though a little smaller. Unit itself is actually a lot bigger than I expected. Looks like something that looks like a button but isn't. We got the camera up here. This looks like a sticker showing NFC. Some kind of marking over here. Might just be a fingerprint. Looking around the rear, we got the nice ThinkPad logo. A camera up here, and the hinge at the bottom. Unlike the previous X1 tablets, it opens more like a Surface and feels a lot like a Surface. It has kind of that unlimited range, which is kind of nice because you can kind of set it anywhere. And then that questionable new ThinkPad X1 branding. But all in all, it actually is very reminiscent of a Surface Pro. Matter of fact, it really does actually just feel like a black Surface Pro. We even got the vents right on the side, much like the Surface Pro. If we flip it around, we've got a couple of useful ports here that you don't get on the Surface Pro. So we have the two USB-C Thunderbolt ports and this appears to be the SIM card, micro SD card slot. Mine doesn't have the LTE module, so the SIM card slot is probably useless. On the other side, we have a big vent power button, volume buttons, and no other ports. The top has nothing. And then the bottom, much like the Surface, has pogo pins, similar to the iPad Pro, the Surface, and so on, to connect the keyboards. So in a way, you know, it really is quite reminiscent of the Surface Pro, but black and ThinkPad-y. I do need a power adapter. Why don't we get that started? I don't really have what's called a face for YouTube, so I'm trying to avoid that part of it. But we can at least get some power in here. And nothing really lights up when the power button's hit, so we're just going to hope for the best and press the power button. Hooray! We have Lenovo. That was one seriously long first boot up time. Probably the longest out of most of the Lenovo products that I've had in lately. And I don't know why, but we're just going to roll with it and hope that the next one isn't so bad. First impressions, wow, that's a glossy screen, and wow, I already can see 2 fingerprints on this case. Also, my trackpad is not flush on the right hand side, whereas it is on the left. Yeah, it definitely bottoms out, which is not great, and I'm wondering if it's just because it's hanging over the edge here. Still, it doesn't really instill a lot of confidence. And if I bend it this way, this one comes down as well. That's a little disappointing. The screen, however, looks great, and I bet that the brightness would go up a little bit if it worked, which it does not. If I press the button there, that works just fine, but my keyboard is completely unresponsive. But luckily, Cortana is here to help me. But I'm a little disappointed this keyboard's not working. That said, this could be my fault, so I'm going to go ahead and reconnect the keyboard. But that looks pretty solid. Now this time it lights up. That's a good sign. The keyboard lit up. We got a nice backlit keyboard now, and I bet if I press this button, hey, there we go. So yeah, that's totally on me. Now with the brightness up, that looks really, really good. It is not as bright as a Surface Pro, I would say, but it is brighter than the Yoga 920 that I just had in here, and that's pretty good. No, Cortana. Beep. So, that's it for right now. We're going to get this set up, and I'll probably have a little bit more of a review as I start to use this a little bit. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.